Good morning, bedheads. Click. It's good evening, good afternoon, good evening for you. I guess it could be morning for some of you, but if you're watching this at 7 p.m. Central, I've got my bedhead this morning. So we are just going to keep it real today because I am feeling a little snarky. Let's just put it that way. I feel like I need to vent a little bit. Not about you, not at all. Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah, so I don't even know for the algorithm. We're going to be talking about basically like division, the elites, evil stuff that just pisses me off. So I'm feeling a little snarky. Okay. So my ego is a little annoyed this morning, let's just say. But we are going to end it with some guidance. I looked at this and I was like, oh, we haven't asked our guides from Sonia's deck for a while. So we're going to do that because I want to leave feeling better. So I'm going to do a little sharing and then we're going to get on with just my current thoughts. I find it so fascinating because yesterday now today, what day would it be today? Today is the 12th, April 12th, 2026 when I'm recording this. You're probably going to watch it on the 13th, okay? Because I have another video that's already recorded for tonight. So I'll be feeling better by the time that you watch this. And I'm already feeling better because I'm talking to you. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah, it's so fascinating because yesterday I was just so calm. I was so clear. I was just living my authentic self. There was no fear. There was total faith and trust. Everything's always okay. I mean, it was amazing. I went outside a few times. I brought my journal down. I mean, I was in that like I want to connect to the universe phase day. It was just that kind of day. I don't always have those kind of days, not that often actually. And then I wake up this morning and I am just it's so annoying. Like, is somebody messing with my energy or am I messing with my own energy? I could definitely ask, I guess. Or does it have to do with what I'm going to talk about? Probably more so what I have to talk about. But let me share a few things. I wanted to show you my finished artwork. I already showed in the spirit circle. Didn't that turn out pretty? I actually picked those colors myself rather than Mabel. I think that turned out so pretty. Anyways, now I'm on to, I have no idea what this is going to look like. I just started, looks like a bunch of people, doesn't it? I just started darkening in down here. I drew all the lines. How I do it is I just start doodling. And then I start darkening in lines and connecting to make them more smooth and stuff. So then it ends up looking like something like that. But it doesn't always turn out to be pretty, I don't think. Most of the time it does, but the other thing I wanted to show you is that what I'm doing today is I am canning some beef stew. This is one that's not in the canner right now. In fact, you're probably going to hear a beep and I'm going to have to pause and go set the pressure canner. So I've got 5 now in the pressure canner. I've got 3 more that I have to do later with 2 cans of bacon. So kind of cool. That took me a while though, cutting all the vegetables and stuff. The other thing I was reading yesterday, I got this book, The Forager's Harvest. I mean, I hate bugs. I hate weeding. But I just felt like I wanted to get this book. I just can't even see myself ever doing this. But for some reason, I got this book. Edible Wild Plants. I find it fascinating. In fact, the guy in the beginning, the author of this book, Samuel Thayer, he has a really interesting story. He said he started foraging at like age 7 and he didn't stop. He said even at a young age, his whole room was filled with plants. And I mean, I find that fascinating. And he has done that his entire life. Talk about life plan direction, right? For me, I can't say that I've had one. I mean, I haven't. I mean, it always amazes me when someone has had one interest and has stuck with it their entire life. I find that so fascinating. So his story in the beginning of this book is kind of interesting. Anywho, but I just bought sort of a herb medicinal book because I thought it would be interesting to just grow some herbs, just trying to get back to, the earth type of thing. I don't have a garden, but I do have one of those stacking planters. So I thought, well, I'm going to maybe grow some herbs for medicinal reasons, just for fun, Anywho, okay, so last night I watched, last night I watched an episode by Sean Atwood, and if you go to his channel, trigger warnings, you got to be in the right space. It's one of those channels where he's interviewing people who have had some really dark things happen to them. Let's just say, okay? Every interview is like that. Like they're looking into, it's Epstein survivors and cult survivors and MK Ultra survivors, all this kind of stuff, right? So every once in a while, I don't know how people can listen like every day. The only reason I go back every once in a while is to get a little deeper in understanding the world a little bit more. Okay, so I ended up watching this episode. I will link the episode below, but I did see somebody in our community said at some point, and they were evaluating it for themselves, how much more information do you need that bad stuff goes on, right? Exactly. So you have to judge that for yourself. I always feel like I'm getting to that point, and then all of a sudden I'm back to, I don't know if that's like, you have to think about that, whether that is junky stuff like feeding the brain, like an addiction, like needing the hit type of thing. So you have to think about that for sure. I do have to think about that. So anyway, I listened to, his name is Craig, it's with a C, Craig Lund, Lund. Okay. Again, I will link it below, but his story is really interesting. And the reason I listened to it is because it was quite different than other ones that I've heard. And he actually has 2 episodes. He worked in Silicon Valley for 20 years. Okay, so he has some background. He explains it all or whatever. But so he worked in Silicon Valley for 20 years. I guess he seems like he's got that programming mind. And he said he wanted to be uber rich. So he was really into that. Okay. And he explains this story about, okay, hang on. My pressure cooker. I think. Yep. Okay, I'm back. I brought the dowsing rods over so one we can say our prayer, especially about this topic, and then ask some questions if I feel like we need to. So, so he's sharing his story about what it means for people to move beyond a certain status in Hollywood and tech. So in his experience, if you move from, let's just say where I'm at right now, we have like 65,000 subscribers here. You know what I mean? But people who, and he said it's actually happening to podcasters now too. I don't know which ones, but that in order for people to move up to elite status in terms of elite, money, because apparently that's what makes you elite, is what the more money you have, right? Which is pretty ridiculous. Because these guys are nothing. The way he describes this, I would not call them elite. So, I mean, what's elite anyways? An elite athlete. So that term implies that they're really good at what they do. So what it sounds like to me from what Craig talked about, well, it doesn't sound like it to me, this is what he talked about, is in order for people to move up with their finances, they still work, they're still working and they've got to do the work. But in order for them to get funded, in order for them to get to the next level of success, let's say, that is when apparently they're all worshiping Satan. That's what they're doing, is basically what he's talking about. So there's that. So I think I'm feeling a little, and he was in it for 20 years, so he knows. He said he actually got out of it because they got him to a point, like they move you to these levels, which I understand Scientology does, Mormonism, they move you to these levels. That's what cults do, And he got to this level where they asked him to do something, probably with this size person, and he was like, I'm not doing that, and he didn't quite say, he said, I can't even, he can't, it's hard for him to talk about, but he tried to get out. It took him 5 years to get out, so that certainly sounds like a cult. And he tried getting out, and they put him in a psych ward because he tried getting out and all this stuff. So he's been beat up a few times, and he's 65 now. So he was younger when this happened, and he went into hiding for a very long time. And he just decided now to come out and tell his story because he's like, well, he's 65. So he's like, well, whatever. I mean, if they take me out, then, at least I'll have done something. I think he feels he's trying to atone for his sins, So that's great. And then after I watched that, because last night I talked about that I was watching that show Loki, which is, I'm in the second episode and I'm like, It just, the first episode was really interesting, and now the story just goes and I don't know, I've seen it all before type of thing. So the first episode was really interesting. But, I'm back to this whole Disney thing. It's just so aggravating that what we have grown up to believe to be entertainment is not. It's been getting our consent about things, that apparently that's what Lucifer believes. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. But I think the reason I'm crabby today is because and not only crabby, but I'm a little in fear, and I got to cut clear and cancel that. Well, there's a couple things. One, I'm feeling the division between that whole situation and the other side. So there's a lot of division in my body right now about being angry about his story. And so that's division. So what I need to do is send that love, which is so hard to do, right? Like, send it love. I got to go to the prayer that we've been talking about, my new part of the prayer here, where I've invited them to go to the light, basically. So that's why all of a sudden I just felt better. So, so I'm feeling the division between the elites, like I'm just, and the division between the manipulation without even understanding we were being manipulated. So I'm feeling that today. Yeah, and just, a new level of horrified. You know what I mean? And the reason I like to come on and have these conversations is because I don't think I'm the only one. And I just want you to know that, like, some days you're going to see me. Like yesterday, I was like flying high. Like, I was in the fifth dimension all day yesterday. And today I am back in the third. So, and I just want to be authentic and real about that so that people understand it's not just you. It's everybody is going through that, Probably didn't help the things I was watching today when I first got up. You do want to be careful what you put in your brain. Now, the good news is before I went to bed, so I listened to this Craig Lund tell his story. And it was a long story, and I was making the pot roast. So I had like 2 hours standing there and I was listening to it the whole time. But then I ended up listening. Ishmael Perez came out yesterday. And so I was listening to him and talk about like just a 260, 280, whatever. What is it? It's not 360. That's all the way around. 180. Talk about a 180, right? I mean, so positive. Talking about the Galactic Federation and all that. But it's so interesting because there is another woman that I've listened to who really interprets the Bible. And she's like the only person so far I can listen to that talks about the Bible that I don't feel ick about. I don't know why. Maybe I'm clearing the ick around the Bible. I'm not sure. Just from the way I was brought up. But she has planted a little bit of doubt in my brain because apparently in the Bible, you guys can tell me because a lot of you probably know more than I do about the Bible having stuff in there regarding aliens or false, whatever. So I've got like these 3 things lining up in my energy today, like the really dark stuff that now thinking back to movies, it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty unbelievable, which kind of makes sense now, how they got this content, and hearing this guy's story and what they're doing. And he's like, they're doing it today. They're all doing it. And he said, even the podcasters, he can see that the podcasters are in on it now because they're being invited to the parties. So the stuff is it's not ending, right? So I don't know. I was going to say something about that, but I think it's a level of like, you just don't know who to trust. And that's when you always have to just go inside. But I think that's what I'm feeling because I'm like, well, can I trust Ishmael Perez, even though he's so positive? And then it's interesting because this Craig Lund, he even talks about, see, when you start to hear connections of things we've been talking about, like other people talking about the white hats and the black hats, which is division in and of itself, right? But even he said, the whole white hat thing. He's like, Trump is not a white hat, you guys. But then there's people who so believe he is. Like, I think that's what's irking me today. Because sometimes you just want some clarity. Like I had total clarity yesterday. But you know what? My clarity didn't come from these stories. My clarity didn't come from needing to know the right answer. My clarity yesterday came from within. So that's really cool. So now that I'm saying that out loud, my clarity, again, I didn't need anybody to tell me what's true, But I did feel a little fear this morning that maybe I should be following the Bible. Like maybe I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to do. Like that creeped up in me today which has never creeped up in me, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? But this whole, like, Ishmael was talking about, and he's not the only one I hear talking about this. But the question is, how do you know for sure he's getting the information that he's getting, that it's actually from that source? How do you know that for sure? I mean, I always find it hard to believe that people can make up stories like the way that he talks. I'm like, how can anybody make that up? But clearly, I never thought the stuff that Craig Lund talked about was going on. So obviously, you know. So I think, Ishmael said basically, and it kind of feels right to me, um, that God basically is saying enough is enough down here. I've heard Honey say that God just is like, enough is enough. This has got to stop. Ishmael does say, which I, find very hopeful, that the stuff that's going on to make people elites, or let's just say have a lot of money that they've stolen from us, for all the money they've stolen from us, basically, that to be able to get to that point, that's coming to an end. Because that's why Ishmael said they are required, the governments are required by the galactic terms he uses, to disclose our relationship with them. They are required to. And if they don't do it, they're just going to show themselves anyways. But they want us to do it. They want our governments to do it so that there's not mass hysteria. Apparently, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. So, yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at today. What do you guys think? Where are you at today? How are you feeling? What do you believe to be true? I do believe to be true that love wins, period. And that's where we have to stand. But I'm really loving this new prayer in terms of taking a stand, which again, I'm not even sure. I saw somebody question, is taking a stand fear-based? I don't think so, because I would feel fear. I think taking a stand, like she was asking whether or not the new part of this prayer is fear-based. So think about that as I read it off, okay? So let's just ask a few questions, and then I'm going to pull a card. So I would pull the card with the prayer also. And this will just maybe set us into some good energy here. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light. And ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, our community, the lead team collective, so it is only of the highest and purest light. On behalf of this community, we release all lower energies rooted in fear, deception, harm, and division. We lovingly ask that you return to the light and align with love, peace, truth, compassion, and unity. If you choose not to, we declare that we are sovereign beings with free will and personal agency. We do not consent to our energy, attention, participation, or personal power being used to support deception, manipulation, division, harm, or the exploitation of humanity in any way. Our observation or participation alone does not equal consent. Our true consent exists only when it is consciously and freely given in alignment with the highest and purest light and the good of all. That is our standing declaration, and it does not expire. And so it is. It's interesting to me when I read that, now that I'm reading it from this space I'm in today, is I don't really like reading those words. manipulation, division, harm, exploitation of humanity. I just don't like having those words in there. Like when I was reading them, I didn't feel good. So I think it's one thing to do a declaration like this, and it's a standing, it never expires, right? So the question is if it never expires, then do we actually have to say it over and over again? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. So I probably will. Somebody had asked me to do a shorter video with just that, and then I might do a clearing around it, and then you guys can go back to the declaration whenever you want to, because it's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll still do on behalf of this community, we release all lower energies rooted in, well, see, I don't even want to say that. I'm just going to say all lower energies. We lovingly ask that you return to the light and align with, that's what I'll say, and align with love, peace, truth, compassion, and unity. That's it, because otherwise it says we release all lower energies rooted in fear, deception, harm, and division. And I feel like every time I say those words today that I'm actually inviting fear, deception, harm, and division. So words matter, don't they? They have energy. Everything has energy. So that's interesting. Okay. Thank you for being on this journey with me. So this declaration felt really good. It still does as a declaration, but I just don't know that it has to be done as a prayer, because it's freaking long for one thing. So I think I'm going to go back to my original, All right, so lead team. The stuff that was talked about on Sean Atwood's channel, is there truth to that? Yes. Okay. Actually, let me do the law of challenge because I haven't done it today. In the name of Christ, are you of the highest and purest light? Yes. In the name of Christ, are you of the highest and purest light? Try to raise my arms here a little bit so you can see them. Yes. In the name of Christ, are you of the highest and purest light? Yes. Okay, thank you. So, so the author Craig Lund was talking about his experience in Silicon Valley and about Hollywood, like people who go to, basically people who end up with a ton of money, who go to these parties in order to get funded for stuff. Is there truth to what they're doing, that they are basically worshiping the lower energies? Yes. Okay. So is there truth to what Ishmael Perez is talking about? Yes. Okay, thank God. I just feel like, you know how people say nobody's coming to save you? I don't know. They seem like, are they coming to save us? It seems like they are. Yes. The way he talks about it, it does seem like they're coming to save us. So, but the work has already been done on Earth. Is that correct? Okay. Yes. Okay. I don't know what else to ask. So I do want to be careful going forward about talking about white hats, black hats. Maybe if we just say white hats, but that's still division, right? So I'm really working on not having division language. So we'll see how that goes. Sometimes it's hard to explain things though, So, all right. Okay, so lead team, will you give us a really cool message today? What do you want us to take away from this conversation with the Ask Your Guides card, please? Okay, thank you. All right. What do they want us? So Ask Your Guides. I love this deck. Haven't used it in a very long time. So let's just get something to walk away with. So in case I brought you down, hopefully I didn't. Just, every once in a while I got to keep it real. Okay, lead team, what message do you have for us today? I don't know. I'm not gonna. I think I just wasn't holding on to them well. Whoops. I think I'm trying to shuffle so you can see them, and then my arms are weird. Okay, so lead team, what message do you have for us today? Thank you. There was one flew out. All right. Is that the message you want for us today? Really wide swing. Okay. Any others you want me to pull? Wow. They're really into that. They're really into that message. Okay. Wait, is there any others you wanted me to pull? I guess I didn't wait for the answer. No? Okay. All righty then. This will give us something positive to focus on. For those of you, this is at nighttime for you. Oh, interesting. Decisions. Higher self. It's a number 11 card. You know, it's interesting because I think sometimes when somebody questions things, like Craig brought up, Craig Lund, in the Sean Atwood interview, he was bringing up how they do things in threes. Like there's the first person at the top who is, you know, Lucifer. And then Lucifer has 3 people, and under them they have 3 people. And then he was talking about the number 333, and I'm like, wait a minute, nope. That's my number, 333 for my mom, you know. But it did make me feel like, what the hell? Like, am I actually, like, it did make me doubt for a minute that, but no, there's just no way, because she's been talking to me since she died through that number in so many ways, so I'm not even going to go there. Okay, so decisions, higher self, number 11. Okay, yeah. Don't try to be all things to all people. Take care of yourself now. So confusion, quandary, ambivalence, juggling. You are now or will soon face many choices and may not be sure what to do. Leave or stay a job, terminate or recommit to a relationship. See, I think it's way beyond those kind of things right now. This to me is just saying, we hear you. Like, this is where you're at. There's confusion, there's quandary, there's ambivalence, there's juggling. Life presents everyone with an endless stream of choices, and figuring out what's best is never simple. Fortunately, your higher self is here to help you make the best choice among so many. Your divine self will guide you if you're willing to drop some of the balls you presently juggle. The key is identifying what you care about right now rather than caring for the needs of others. Focus on your priorities and don't let yourself be overwhelmed or sidetracked by the demands and expectations of those around you. This doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities to those in real need of care. Oh, darn, hang on. Canning process in action. I had to put the steam is coming up. You can probably hear it. Okay, so this doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities to those in real need of care, such as small children or vulnerable others who depend on you. It means being fully centered in self-care and refraining from over caretaking competent adults who are responsible for themselves. And I would say, like, for the world right now, right? Like trying to get all the answers to be a part of, and if we just go back to, you know, what I've been talking about recently, it's quite simple. It's fear versus love, right? It's just staying in that love space. Should I fear that I haven't been following the Bible? No, just stay in the love space. I've always been in the love space. If I just stay there, we'll be fine, right? Just always stay in the love space. And if you watch something that brings some fear, you got to take care of yourself to get back to the love space. See, I'm giving myself a little counseling here. I'm feeling much, much better. So in case anybody needed to hear this today, I hope this is helpful for you too. You aren't abandoning anyone by doing this, by taking care of yourself. Your higher self simply reminds you not to abandon yourself. Put yourself first right now. It is the best thing you can do. This is a continuing message for the last 6 months. Not only that, but the month of April was a very strong message that the focus should be on yourself, but it's continuing. The message is still continuing. So if you haven't done what you feel comfortable with in terms of preparing for whatever these transitions are that we're going to experience, then, and you notice how nobody's talking about the Strait of Hormuz anymore? Like, what the hell? Maybe it's just not in my feed. I don't know. But it doesn't even seem like the government's talking about it. Yeah, I find that a little weird, to be honest. So put yourself first. So if you haven't done anything to do, or just emotionally, right? Put yourself first. Sometimes I'm trying to figure out the whole world so that I can help it, but I don't need to help the whole world. I can help myself stay in the love space, and that will help the world, right? You can't take on the whole world. And sometimes I'm out there trying to find the answers to things. You guys know what I mean, And yesterday I had the answer. I didn't even need to listen to Sean's. If I didn't listen to Sean's interview, I probably would have stayed in that space. So the question is, what else do I need to know? But here's the thing I'm really questioning, and you guys know if you've been around the channel for a while, I've been questioning. It's what to give your attention to. Like sometimes you do want some entertainment, but now I'm finding, before I was just trying to give up TV for a month. Now I'm finding how much manipulation they're using TV for, and I can't even look at any of the actors now because I don't know who to trust. That's the problem for me right now. Because he even mentioned, he mentioned a few people. He just said, assume they're all, like you can't even trust Oprah. What the hell? What the hell? I don't know. So it's, and I don't allegedly in entertainment purposes only. I don't even want to say that about her because it doesn't really matter. What does matter is where I'm going to give my energy to. Like okay, if she is, she isn't, whatever. But it would be helpful to know so that I knew where I could give my energy to, but maybe that's not where we're supposed to be giving our energy to. But, sometimes I do like to sit down and watch, like Schitt's Creek. We've been watching Schitt's Creek lately. It's freaking hilarious. I don't feel like there's anything in there that's demonic. But is it? I mean, see, question everything. So, and I know there's plenty of people here who have given up TV and all this, which is amazing that you've done that. I feel like I need a little bit better balance, I don't know. Anyways, stay in the love space, you guys. Stay in the love space. Take care of yourself. Decisions. Higher self. Go to your higher self for decisions. Look at the number 11. Maybe that'll be significant to you. So, all right. Thanks for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.